Everyone sure loves to aim for the stars, but these special breeds of NFL stars, dominating the end zones wasn't enough. So they've gone ahead to make a mark for themselves in the space zone. Join us in this video as we reveal the NFL players who ventured beyond the gridiron to pursue new dreams among the stars. Joshua Dobbs, Eric Smith, and Chris Peace. Back in 2020, the world's prominent space agency, NASA made history when it drafted 10 players from the National Football League for its off-season program. Some of the players drafted in for this NFL Players Association externship program includes Jacksonville Jaguars quarterback Joshua Dobbs, New York Giants offensive lineman Eric Smith, and his outside linebacker teammate Chris Peace. Joshua Dobbs, on his part, is a space enthusiast and an aerospace engineering graduate, so he must have had an idea about most of the things they were introduced to during the program. However, for players like Chris Peace, it was a totally different experience. When I was a kid, I was always kind of interested in the stars, Peace ahead of the event. I had a telescope, planets, and all that stuff. Real big fan of NASA, so why not given the opportunity? It was a chance to do something different. NASA officials spent 3 weeks educating the players about the exciting technologies built by the space agency and how they can be integrated in real-life scenarios. And as Chris Peace admitted after the program, every NFL player in attendance was blown away. When I got there to Houston in NASA, I was completely caught off guard, Peace said. I thought we were going to go down there and learn about stars and planets, and we saw a little bit about it. But for the most part, it was kind of like a business internship. When we were down there, we learned about all their technology and worked with their technology side. Michael Anthony Strahan is famous worldwide for his illustrious NFL career, which spanned over 15 years. But on December 11, 2021, he became one of the few NFL players to cross from the end zone to space zone. Born on the 21st of December 1971, Strahan began his NFL career with the New York Giants after he was drafted by the club in the second round of the 1993 draft. Unfortunately, his first season was marred by injuries, and he'd only made 6 appearances. However, he came into limelight 1997 to win his first Pro Bowl, and from that moment on, he never looked back. By the time he called him in his career in 2008, Michael Strahan had become one of the most dominant pass rushers in the NFL and won literally everything in the league. This includes NFL Defensive Player of the Year in 2001, 4 times First Team All-Pro, 2 times Second Team, 7 times Pro Bowl, 2 times NFL Sacks Leader, NFL 2000's New York Giants Ring of Honor, and of course the prestigious Super Bowl title. Since retiring, Anthony Strahan has metamorphosed into an NFL analyst for Fox TV and a regular contributor for the Australian Broadcasting Corporation. But in 2021, Strahan added space travel to the list of things he has achieved so far in his lifetime, when he and 5 other people flew to orbital space aboard Blue Origin's New Shepard spacecraft. Aside from Strahan, other passengers who experienced the iconic 10-minute journey includes volunteer pilot for Starfighters Aerospace Evan Dick, founder of Space for Humanity, Dylan Taylor, American entrepreneur Lane Bess, and his son Cameron Bess, as well as Laura Shepard Churchley, daughter of the famous NASA astronaut Alan Shepard, who was the first American to fly to space. The visit to orbital space was quite interesting for the group as a whole, but it was even more iconic for Michael Strahan as he became the tallest person to fly in space at 6'5", speaking in the Good Morning Show after the successful flight. But it was the most surreal experience. LeSean Melvin. Born on the 15th of February 1964, LeSean Devin Melvin is one among the 1 percentile of people who have had a successful career in the NFL and NASA. And as you'd expect, Melvin's educational background was just as impressive as his career, both on land in the NFL and among the stars with NASA. After completing his time at Heritage High School, Melvin moved over to the University of Richmond on football scholarship, where he bagged a bachelor's degree in chemistry. This meant that while studying for his degree, Melvin also served as a wide receiver on the university's football team from 1982 to 1985, and he was quite exceptional at it. According to the fact book, Melvin ranks first on the University of Richmond career list and 4th in terms of touchdown. In total, he has 198 receptions for 2,669 yards and 16 touchdowns receptions. In addition, Melvin made it to the second-team Apple Academic All-America and was an AP Honorable Mention All-America for 2 consecutive years in 1984 and 1985. During his time in the university team, LeSean Melvin delivered some incredible performances. However, his best game for the institution by some distance was the 1984 game against James Madison University, in which he produced 10 catches for 208 yards and 1 touchdown. But interestingly, he had his best year during his senior season in 1985 with 65 catches for 956 yards and 8 touchdowns. At the end of his career as a Richmond Spire, Melvin had caught at least 1 pass in every game, and deservedly, he was inducted in the school's Hall of Fame inductee class of 1996 to 97. He also made into the All-Earth Stadium team in 2009, which is an exclusive team of the greatest Spiders to have played at the stadium in its over 8 decades of existence. Following the completion of his degree at the University of Richmond in 1985, LeSean Melvin was drafted by the Detroit Lions as a wide receiver. But unfortunately, his time at the club was cut short by a hamstring injury he sustained during the training camp. By late August, the promising star had been released by the Detroit Lions. Melvin had a short stint with the Toronto Argonauts, where he featured in their practice roster. By the next spring, Melvin was back in the NFL with the Dallas Cowboys, but another nasty hamstring cut his time at the club short and ultimately ended his professional football career. Despite enduring this torrid situation and hitting rock bottom, Melvin was determined to re-strategize and aim for the stars, both literally and figuratively. In 1989, LeSean Melvin bagged another degree, this time a master's degree in materials science engineering from the University of Virginia in Charlottesville. That same year, he enrolled into NASA's Astronaut program and started training at the Johnson Space Center. Unfortunately, the rigorous requirement of the training caused Strahan to go deaf and nearly ruined his space career even before it took off. After emergency surgery in the hospital, the world-renowned ear, nose, and throat doctors said that they don't know what happened to me and that I would never fly in space, Strahan said. Despite this challenge, the former NFL star remained resilient and eventually regained hearing in his right ear 3 years later, and went on to have an outstanding career in space. Initially, he served in the Non-Destructive Evaluation Sciences Division at NASA's Langley Research Center. His responsibilities at the time included using optical fiber sensors to measure damage and deformation in composite and metallic structures. Fast forward to 1994, Melvin was chosen to lead the Vehicle Health Monitoring Team for the Martin X-33 Reusable Launch Vehicle program, which was jointly designed by NASA and Lockheed Martin. 2 years later, Melvin co-designed and monitored the construction process of an optical non-destructive evaluation facility, which had the capacity to produce inline fiber optic sensors. In June 1998, he was officially named an astronaut and deployed to the Astronaut Office Space Station Operations Branch at NASA headquarters in Washington. Subsequently, Melvin took up the role of co-manager at NASA's Educator Astronaut program. He traveled across the nooks and crannies of the United States enlightening students and teachers about the benefits of space exploration and promoting science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. At the peak of his space career, Melvin flew 2 missions on the Space Shuttle Atlantis as a mission specialist on STS-122 and STS-129. He'd also served in the robotics branch of the Astronaut Office. By October 2010, Melvin had been appointed as Associate Administrator for the Office of Education. By the time he retired from NASA in 2014, LeSean Melvin had clocked over 565 hours in space, bringing an end to an illustrious career beyond the Kármán line.